Welcome back to Soul Sessions with me, Emma. Would you believe it's been almost a year since I started this podcast? Last year, it was just an idea in my head, and I took the brave step to just ask a person to be my guest, and I just went with it from there. So thank you to anybody who's been with me from the beginning. And if you're just discovering me and this podcast, it's so lovely to have you here. Thank you. So every now and again, I like to throw in what I call a reflection episode. I usually take some inspiration from life, from literature, from philosophy, psychology, things like that. Anything really that tells us something about human behavior. And this particular piece of work inspired me because it really made me think about the condition of our society today. And really this piece asks the question what it means to be honourable. And as we know, with the state of affairs in the world today, it's very, very difficult to find someone that we know is honourable, especially in authority. Now, this play was written over 400 years ago, and it's based on an historic figure that most of us know, Julius Caesar. And in this play, they tell the story, which is based on history, that Caesar has been assassinated by a group of senators. And one of them is his close friend, Brutus. Now, the reason that the group and Brutus have decided to assassinate Julius Caesar is that they believe that he became too ambitious, and they wanted to just get rid of him. Now, the people of Rome know that Caesar has been assassinated, and the premise for this is that the Senate and Brutus say that they saved Rome by getting rid of Caesar. And Brutus stands in front of the people of Rome and he tries to explain to them why Caesar had to die. Now, he does present himself as a man acting for the good of Rome, and the crowd believe him. But then Mark Antony, Caesar's closest friend, walks onto the stage. Now, Antony has been told he cannot openly criticize Brutus, so instead he keeps repeating one sentence throughout his speech: for Brutus is an honourable man. Now, at first it sounds like praise, and every time Antony tells another story about Caesar's kindness, generosity or loyalty, he repeats those same words, and Brutus is an honourable man. Now, slowly the audience begins to hear something different. His words haven't changed, but the meaning has. And by the end of the speech, the crowd start questioning everything they had accepted only minutes before. Now, I've always found this speech particularly fascinating because it's not just a story about Rome, it's a story about us. And it got me thinking, how often do we accept something because the right person says it? The person with the title, the followers, the money, the authority. We somehow assume that they must know. And meanwhile, the quiet person sitting beside us, carrying a lifetime of wisdom, can be overlooked because their voice isn't amplified. And I think when we look deeper into the message of this play, it isn't about politics, it's about discernment. It's about learning to think for ourselves and to ask better questions. It's about learning not to confuse confidence with character or status with wisdom. I also think it asks another uncomfortable question. What does it actually mean to be honourable? Is it like so many politicians today saying the right things in public? Is it living with integrity when nobody is watching? Again, it just begs the question, who are we looking up to in our lives or in society? And are they people who have humility, people who keep their word, admit when they're wrong, and treat people with dignity regardless of what they can do for you? And so many of us believe that success is gaining the title, success is having more money, having the material things. But perhaps the real success in life is looking at ourselves and actually saying, yeah, you know what, I think I'm a good person. I treated people well and I don't regret anything because of that. So really, the play to me, the message that it shares is that in a world that tells us to build influence, maybe the greater challenge is to build character. Thank you for joining me for another soul session with Emma and this short reflection. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode, and as always, I ask you to subscribe and share with anyone that you feel this episode might resonate. And don't forget to check out the episodes before this as well. Have a lovely day.